Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Elliot Grigg. We are recording this a few minutes after the fight, but this is going out the day after the fight. Oleksandr Usyk stops Daniel Dubois in round 9. Please check out our reaction show if you haven't done so already. In this video, we're going to be talking about what is next for the Ukrainian heavyweight world champion. Elliot, good for you to join me here. We're just kind of talking about the possibilities, as boxing fans do. We kind of don't like to give anyone kind of a minute to recover after they've had their fight already, talking about the next one. I'm going to start off this video by asking about Tyson Fury, I'm afraid. I know we're probably all sick to death of talking about it. I'm not going to ask you, we've been over like what your opinion on what you think would happen in that fight. I know you think Fury would win. I'm the same as you. I think Fury would win. I'm a bit more confident after last night's fight as well. But I am going to ask you, do you think it's going to happen next? I know it's a tough one. Fury's got this fight on October 28th against Francis Ngannou. If you don't know if you want to call it a fight or not, but that is happening. I'm not. There are rumors that it's back on in Saudi in January. I'm not asking you if you think it will happen there and then, but do you think that's the next fight for Oleksandr Usyk?
It's the caveat next that's doing me. Do I think that fight will happen? Yes, I do. But do I think it will happen next? In a way, I'm genuinely 50-50. It's not me sitting on the fence. The reason why I'm 50-50 is this. I feel like after that performance, Fury's watching that. He should be encouraged by what he saw and essentially should be looking to make that fight and think his CV and his legacy needs this fight. So really he needs to push it through. Usyk wants it as well. Obviously, he's like, they made very public overtures to that end. The reason why I'm saying maybe it won't, or the 50% of why it won't, is just because I almost feel like he's 36 years old. Fury, I think, quite happily let him marinate for a bit longer and try and essentially, get another fight up, maybe get some more miles on Usyk's clock. Similarly, obviously, I think he's got Hrgovic as a mandatory as well, hasn't he, Usyk, and whether they call that as well, they will have to sort of go into that if Fury's pissing around. So that's, to me, why I'm genuinely 50-50. Like, it should happen, but I feel like it's all with Tyson Fury. You can't predict Tyson Fury, what he's going to do or what he's going to say. But to be honest with you, I feel like the road is converging for this fight to happen next. It needs to happen next. And if it doesn't, it'll be a shame, but it'll be heavyweight boxing at the same time.
Yeah, I just feel like timing wise, I'm not sure there are excuses now. And I also think Fury. Look, I think a lot of people would say, Fury does not want to fight Usyk. He looks at Usyk and thinks, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. I don't know how to beat you. You look really effing annoying, basically. Whereas now I just think that Fury, I imagine he's kind of sparred with Daniel Dubois in the past. And he's had enough time to get to know Usyk. He's seen Usyk fight. Usyk's fought Joshua twice, Tony Bellew, Derek Chisora, now Daniel Dubois. So we've gone British fight fans know Usyk very well, and I just think the fight, in my opinion, if the fight doesn't happen next, it is in danger of not happening because I'm not convinced Usyk's going to be around for much longer. He turns 37 in January. I don't think Usyk's still going to be here when he's 39, 40, in my opinion. So in my personal opinion, I'll probably regret saying this, but I think it will happen next. I just think that if you consider what the other options are for Fury, if you consider, I'm not sure who Fury fights if he doesn't fight Usyk next. Usyk could fight Hrgovic, could fight the winner of Zhang Joyce too. Whereas with Fury, he's not going to look. Let's say Joshua Wilder does happen, so he's not going to fight Joshua or Wilder next. Obviously, not going to fight Usyk next. I'm not sure. Not sure who's left. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
No, I totally agree with you. I think I I don't think I'd put this way. I don't think Tyson Fury will fight Deontay Wilder again. I feel like we don't also really want to see that fight either. So irrespective of kind of what's happening in the rankings there with Wilder being the manager, I don't think that's a fight that's necessarily there's much clamour for. AJ, I don't think will fight Fury. Don't think we'll see that fight, frankly, and also don't necessarily want to see that fight given where AJ is at the moment. And I think when he does fight Wilder, that'll be good night. So I don't think he'll fight him either. So yeah, I think to be honest, I agree with you. It's going to have to essentially be him, but equally, Tyson Fury could do something mental like claim he's going to give Joe Parker a shot at the title or something. Do you know what I mean? He could genuinely do that, like something crazy like that, or like a Zhang or whoever. Like he could do that, but I just feel like there was so little credibility behind him fighting Chisora. There was
Mm.
kind of minimal credibility. Even though because it prepares him for the Southpaw challenge, and when Dillian White fought him when he came out Southpaw, there was minimal credibility for that really, because that was kind of an obvious mismatch as well. And I think people are kind of patience with Fury has run out to the point where it's like get in the ring with someone live, stop these crossover events, stop trying to sell us nonsense, and get in there and actually get in there and have a proper fight against one of the actual names in the division, try and unify the belt. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think a lot of people are with it, and I think, like you said as well, the road is kind of running out, and they do need to do it now. And I also agree with you. I don't think Usyk's going to be here 39, 40 years old. To be honest with you, I really think he's probably got a maximum 3 fights left. I believe that.
I agree with that. I don't think turns 37 in January. I think I think three. I agree. 3 fights. I can't see him having more than that. Moving on. Other options. The other option does include Filip Hrgovic. Obviously, we saw Hrgovic out against Dempsey McKean on the Joshua Helenius undercard a couple of weeks ago. Hrgovic got the stoppage in the final round there, but wasn't the most exciting performance. I think it's fair to say. Obviously, Hrgovic faced Zhang last year. A lot of people thought he was fortunate to win that fight. Just give me that. I think that is a genuine possibility. Next, I think Hrgovic is in a mandatory position, so Usyk might be in a position where he either has to fight Hrgovic or lose one of his belts. I don't feel like we need to spend too much time talking about this, Elliot, but if that fight did happen, what do you see happening?
Yeah, I see Usyk winning now. I see it actually being a kind of a waste of a training camp for Alexander Usyk as well. Like we've seen, obviously we saw Hrgovic, like you say, disappointing against Zhang, fought Dempsey McKean, disappointing there, even though he got the stoppage. And I feel like, obviously you can say he carries power in a way. What's he got, like 13 knockouts or something in 16? So, but a lot of those fighters obviously aren't renowned fighters. He hasn't really stepped up, to my mind, credibly enough to deserve a shot at Usyk. And to me, it'd be a shame to kind of waste a Usyk training camp and another event in a kind of fight of this magnitude. I really want Usyk, while he's at this stage of his career, he's getting older, to fight Fury or to fight Wilder and see what happens. Fight one of those two. That's kind of the only thing I really want to see. I don't know, I'd watch him fight someone like Andy Ruiz just for the sort of fast hands factor in that fight as well. But I don't really want to see him fight someone plodding along like Hrgovic, who's not really going to stop him and is just going to be completely outworked and outmaneuvered. So yeah, I think it'd be Usyk. But I actually probably think UD, to be honest, is how I'd see it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think he. I agree. I don't think he'd stop Hrgovic. I just think he'd pepper him around for 12 rounds. He could do that comfortably, easily. Doesn't have to stop Hrgovic. So yeah, I think so. But it's really, after seeing Hrgovic's last 2 performances, it really doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know what's happened to Hrgovic, but he doesn't look like the fighter he was 2-3 years ago. Going into another option, the rematch between Zhilei Zhang and Joe Joyce is happening very soon. Spoiler alert, I know we did the big fight breakdown for that fight recently. I know you're picking Zhang to win the rematch. I'm actually picking Joyce, but we're going to go with your pick here on Zhang. Oleksandr Usyk against Zhilei Zhang next year. Could be at the Bird's Nest in Beijing, maybe. You never know. Your thoughts on that fight? Zhang's obviously just got that one loss to Hrgovic, which was a controversial loss. Got a fantastic win against Joe Joyce, which happened in London. 40 years old now. One of the oldest heavyweights around. But yeah, what would happen in that fight, do you think, Elliot?
You know what? Either Joyce or Zhang would be a fight I'd rather see than Hrgovic. And I feel like, look, Zhang's got some boxing ability, let's not forget. But like he obviously will be old. So again, I feel like, and you obviously we're talking against the big fight breakdown, but obviously you've watched him previously. I think you watched Jerry Forrest, whatever, different people you've seen him fight against. But when like he obviously gasses a bit as well, and Usyk's obviously busy and will keep him busy. And I feel like, do I see Zhang stopping Usyk? No. Do I see Usyk just tiring him out and potentially stopping him? Yes. Just for the fact that he'll be like 40 odd years old. So to be honest, that'd be a bit depressing, I think. And they said, don't get me wrong, I thought Usyk has actually slowed a little bit, or Duval was actually quicker. I think he has slowed noticeably. but he won't obviously be like Zhang speed. So I see him potentially either sort of stopping him through fatigue or it not really being that competitive, even though Zhang would, I think, have what, 3 or 4 inches on him. So there'd be a size factor there. We'd have to sort of get inside the jab and stuff and not get hit. But let's be honest, he's got the skill to do that. So, but I would rather see it. I'd rather see that,
Yeah.
to be honest, to see the Hrgovic fight if it has to happen.
One thing I'd say is that I do think that is a possibility. From what I spoke to Adam Morley, who is the manager of Joe Joyce, at the press conference for the rematch about a month ago, and he said that the rematch is due. The whoever wins on September the 23rd, that will get called for around. He thinks that will get called for March-April time 2024. So look, I think if for some reason Hrgovic doesn't happen, that fight could be next, or Usyk may have to relinquish that belt, and Zhang or Joyce could fight whoever's next in the rankings. So we'll see. Look, I do think it's a genuine possibility. By the way, to finish things up earlier, going to throw you a bit of a curveball. As we do, like none of these videos we do are kind of scripted. We just kind of go with the flow, and that's how we like to do things at ESBR. Joshua Wilder is not official yet. I personally don't think it's going to happen next for a variety of reasons. Joshua, I think, just needs to have another 1 or 2 fights of fighting kind of top 20, 25 guys before he's ready to take on the likes of Wilder or Fury. I wouldn't rule out being in a position where Usyk's options are fight Hrgovic for this amount of money, fight Zhang for this amount of money, or fight Wilder for that amount of money. So look, some people might be watching this thinking I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a little bit, but I think that I do think that's a possibility here. You've mentioned there Usyk hasn't got long left. I think it's a fight that Wilder would take, and it's a fantastic fight. Your thoughts on whether kind of you can see that possibly happening next or not?
I saw you coming off a long one there. I thought you can ask me for prediction in this fight. And I don't want to skip it. I think, to be honest with you, we did our heavyweight breakdown, didn't we? And I had Usyk, I had Fury at 1, Usyk 2, Wilder at 3. I can kind of, to be honest with you, kind of see that fight going a little bit like the Ortiz fight. Obviously, Usyk's better than Ortiz, but I can actually see him just outboxing Wilder. But at the same time, if Wilder touches you, I think Usyk will go. And to be honest with you, I said I think Usyk has slowed, and also Wilder's 6'7", 83-inch reach. So I think he's got sort of 6, 7, no, maybe I think it's 5 or 6 inches reach, and he's sort of 4 or 5 inches taller. So we'll have that advantage over him. And I, to be honest with you, wouldn't put it past seeing a Wilder KO. People are going to come at me and go, that's probably lunacy, but I genuinely think he'd be outboxed for sort of maybe 6, 7 rounds, and Usyk's not got that power. Fury's not a power puncher, but he's not necessarily got that power. It's a lot more cumulative punches, isn't it? You'd have to hit him with, and we've seen him obviously rattle Dubois today, last night. I suppose by the time this goes out, but I think I actually think Wilder would beat him. I think he'd stop him, sort of somewhere between 8 to 10, genuinely.
Yeah. Look, it's such a fantastic clash of styles, and it's a fight I really want to see. I want to see that fight more than Joshua Wilder, probably more than Fury Usyk. I personally think Fury Usyk, I don't think it'd be a very entertaining fight. That's a fight. Whether it happens next, I'm not convinced, but I think it could happen maybe in the next 12 months. I really do, and I really hope it does. I think that's an incredibly entertaining fight.
I do think Wilder would take it. With the belt's not like a chance to get back in. I think he'd take it.
Yeah. I think so. I just think if Wilder, look who's got the belts. Do you want to fight Fury again? Probably not. And I just think that you'd fancy it. And I just think there's a lot of people, whether it's Fury or Wilder or other kind of guys in the top 10, who will look at tonight and think, yeah, okay, Usyk he's not invincible. He can be hurt. Daniel Dubois isn't kind of this kind of elite fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. I just don't think he's not an elite fighter. But this guy can be beaten. It's just finding a way to do it. Elliot Grigg, really appreciate your time as always, and we'll see. I think with Usyk, my thoughts are just enjoy him whilst he's still here. He's a fantastic talent, and as I've said to you in the past, you got to remember he doesn't actually belong in this weight division. So credit to him for coming up and facing Joshua 3 fights in London, and doing other things he's done in the sport as well as that cruiserweight. Elliot, thank you for joining me, and I will speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much, mate. And again, thank you very much, guys, for watching.